J'espère que tu vas bien. Te dire, on a récolté 3000 € pour le camp de réfugiés de Al-Fawar. Alhamdoulilah, alhamdoulilah. Je suis trop contente. Je suis trop contente parce que du coup, je vais retourner à Khalil, je vais revoir Issa Amro. Ça, c'est militant palestinien activiste qui vit à Al-Khalil, qui est une ville qui est convoitée par les colons malheureusement. Il y a énormément d'implantations de colonies illégales. Beaucoup de raids de la part de l'armée coloniale, c'est beaucoup de raids de la part des colons eux-mêmes, soutenus par l'armée coloniale. Ça, il fait un travail qui est très noble, qui reste assez difficile et en proie à une violence extrême au quotidien. Il se bat pour la dignité des Palestiniens qui vivent en Cisjordanie, qui vivent à El Khalil. El Khalil, c'est une ville qui est extrêmement surveillée et contrôlée. C'est très choquant par les colons. J'ai un peu peur de ce qui va advenir. Je suis très stressée de me faire recaler à la frontière parce que j'ai peur qu'ils trouvent un seul truc dans mon téléphone ou n'importe où qui rappelle que je suis militante et que je soutiens la Palestine. Et du coup, j'ai peur qu'ils m'interdisent le territoire. Et c'est terrifiant parce qu'à chaque fois que j'y vais, je me dis c'est peut-être la dernière fois que j'aurai la chance de pouvoir mettre les pieds là-bas. J'ai envie d'être demain, j'ai envie que ça passe vite, j'ai envie d'être demain pour être pliée sur mon sort, très honnêtement. J'aime trop la Jordanie, donc là du coup on vient d'arriver en Jordanie, on est à Aqaba. Et les Jordaniens, les Jordaniens, sur ma tête, c'est bon ou pas sur ma tête. 3000 € à retirer avant de rentrer en Palestine, il va falloir qu'on se pose et que je réfléchisse à comment est-ce que je vais faire, mais ça c'est une histoire de plus tard maintenant, voilà. Dernier jour avant de passer la frontière, je connais des gens qui sont interdits de territoire, j'en connais au moins 3, parce qu'ils sont militants, activistes. Je m'en remets à Dieu, seulement à lui. J'y ai réfléchi et je pense que ça va le faire. Inch'Allah. 1 minute. On est dans le taxi pour aller à Hussein Bridge. C'est la frontière. On est en train de se mettre d'accord par rapport sur les conditions de l'accès. J'ai passé 6 heures à la frontière. Elle m'a posé 5 fois la question, elle m'a dit oui, hyper vicieux. Tu mens en fait quand tu dis que tu connais personne. Elle a pas fouillé mon téléphone et moi j'avais changé l'indicatif des numéros de téléphone palestiniens avec qui je suis. Ah bah oui. J'ai voyagé seule. Moi j'ai l'habitude de voyager seule et en plus je parle pas très bien anglais, je faisais que la faire répéter pour pas qu'elle me pose trop de questions. J'ai dit je vais à Jérusalem, elle m'a dit tu vas que à Jérusalem, j'ai dit bah peut-être que je vais aller à Bethlehem. À Bethlehem, elle m'a dit Bethlehem. Et elle m'a dit non mais moi tu peux tout me dire, si tu connais quelqu'un, t'inquiète pas, genre en gros il n'y a pas de no judgment. On vient d'arriver à la porte de Damascus. Damascus Gate, c'est la porte qui donne sur Jérusalem-Est, ce qui te fait rentrer dans les villes. Et sur Jérusalem-Est, donc c'est le quartier palestinien. Et notre hôtel, on va National Hotel, c'est un hôtel palestinien. Et il n'y a pas beaucoup d'hôtels palestiniens à Jérusalem-Est.
The Umayyad.
Yeah.
So this is a dinar from the Umayyad. This is Abdul Malik ibn Marwan, his dinar. He built the Dome of the Rock in the mosque. And it's saying in the dinar, pure gold.
Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? A dog over there. Close to the minaret, to the left. That's Augusta Victoria, a German establishment.
Wow.
And over here you see, this is here, over there, that's Schmidt School or Paulus House.
Okay. C'est là que Jésus aurait été crucifié. Moi je suis censée courir parce que c'est l'heure de la prière, mais... En train de parler avec un ami à moi qui est palestinien, originaire de la bande de Gaza, qui vit en Égypte. Je lui envoie des photos de la mosquée, je lui dis je vais te montrer. Et je me sens tellement coupable, égoïste parce que il peut pas aller à Jérusalem, il peut pas rentrer en Cisjordanie. On vit même pas 1% de ce qu'ils vivent. Je me sens carrément coupable. J'ai fait des dohas jusqu'à ne plus avoir d'inspiration. Je ne savais plus quoi dire. Alhamdulillah. أنا في الأقصى. Interdit à vie de rentrer à la mosquée Al-Aqsa parce que j'ai filmé les juifs qui étaient à la balade de la mosquée. Je me suis embrouillée avec un...
Je me suis encore embrouillée.
Je me suis embrouillée avec un soldat de l'armée génocidaire et il parlait français en plus.
Et celui qui t'a interrompu au début, il parlait français ou l'autre?
Non, l'autre il parlait français, mais le premier parlait pas français. Ils m'ont pris en photo, ils ont pris en photo mon passeport et ils m'ont interdit de rentrer dans la mosquée. On a essayé dans un autre endroit, du coup ça marchait pas.
Et en fait c'est là où dans l'autre endroit où on a essayé que le gars il parlait français et dès le départ il a vraiment... Il a dit parle français toi. Pars, rentre chez toi.
Rentre chez toi. Genre en gros, est-ce que t'as envie de finir ta journée au poste?
Ouais, tu vas aller à la police là maintenant?
Et moi j'ai dit mais je comprends pas pourquoi.
Il m'a dit je sais très bien pourquoi.
C'est vrai que je savais très bien pourquoi. C'est fou quand même. Franchement Bethlehem c'est un vent nouveau, j'apprécie.
Oui.
Regarde, il y a les plaques vertes. Les plaques vertes, du coup, c'est ceux qui peuvent. Qui ont le droit de travailler. Enfin, qui ont un permis de travail.
Et là, devant, il y a les plaques blanches.
Les plaques blanches et les plaques et ça fait du bien juste de voir ça. Il y a le Star. Celui-là, j'avais vu à Ramallah. Le Star N-Buc. C'est pas le Starbuck, c'est le Star N-Buc. Ouais. On va voir l'église de la Nativité. Donc là où censément Issa est né. Donc Jésus pour les chrétiens.
Come to visit us in Bethlehem city. Here, Church of the Nativity, the birthplace of Jesus. Everything is safe. If you want to come, don't follow the news because here it's safe, more than safe. If you want to visit, as you see. There is tourists, we are guiding, we are working as a tour guide. If you want to come, you will be happy. Don't allow anyone to change your mind and welcome anytime.
Inch'Allah. Bethlehem, c'est une ville qui vit beaucoup du tourisme, de séparation. Et ils ont besoin, soit les commerçants, les guides, les hôtels, les restaurants, etc. Et on doit injecter de l'argent dans leur économie. Une devise forte. À El Khalil, Hebron. Vous voyez dans les hauteurs du coup, c'était des colonies, il y avait des drapeaux. Et c'est pour ça aussi d'ailleurs que moi, pourquoi ils klaxonnent? Pas parce qu'ils bloquent le checkpoint pour sortir, qu'ils peuvent pas sortir du coup. Oui. Pourquoi ils ont fermé? Ils ont fermé parce qu'ils contrôlent l'accès et la sortie de toute la ville. Et ils vont fermer. Alors vous vouloir les familles.
Hello, my name is Muhannad. I'm a Palestinian from Hebron, and we are today in the city here, and we're heading to Tel Ermeda, which is an area completely under Israeli army control. Yes, we'll have more talk about it. But now we are in the city center of Hebron.
I have it. But I've seen, yes, I remember. On n'est pas sûr de passer les checkpoints. On change là.
بس الساعة 5. We're eating a Palestinian dish called chicken and rice.
Chicken rice.
No, it's just chicken and rice. It's not really a specific Palestinian dish, but it's specifically made in a Palestinian way. The rice tastes, the chicken, it's barbecued. So yes, we put it in the city center and we're eating now.
Appétit.
Merci. Yeah.
Ça sent trop bon.
C'est quoi?
C'est des fleurs qu'Issa nous a offert. Elles sentent vraiment bon pour le coup.
بدنا نوزع طرود بكره نودي على العروب.
معيش سيارة.
بدون سيارة.
بعدين كيف بدك تدخل على العروب؟
حكوا لي من عند الشمعة هاي.
مدخل الشمعة فاتح.
من جورة الشمعة.
لا مدخل شمعة فاتح.
مدخل أبو شمعة.
أبو شمعة.
مدخل فاتح.
طيب اعمل حسابك كمان شوي كمان ساعة زمان برن عليك بقول لك أي ساعة بدنا نوزع الطرود.
ليه بس بدي انسخه مع شغلي لانه اصلا مش راح يمكن بكره يزبط لانه لا بكره لا. هاي انها بتخزي. بدك بحط لك طونة رخيصة ب3 ب10.
وده طعمها زاكي؟
طونة بتجنن، ما انا المرة اللي عدت ابو غربية اللي حطيناها نفس الاشي.
خلص طونة طيب يلا ماشي.
برتب موضوع العروض ما عاد شوي.
6, 8, 10.
Israeli army after the 7th of October they established more than 720 road blockades at the entrances and exits of the Palestinian cities plus the off-roads. After the deal, the ceasefire, they established 900 and new more around the West Bank. We have more than 1,500 plus in Hebron only more than 112 new in the past 3 weeks. They established 112 new road blockades around Hebron Governorate, which means Hebron and the other villages of Hebron, like Dura, Yatta. They're not villages now, they're cities, but about Hebron districts.
Just squeeze it a lot.
Okay.
Tight a lot. And your hands to the back.
Like this.
Yes.
And then they ask you questions. Right?
They hit you, and they ask you questions. Yes. They did it to him, yes. But not with this one, even bigger.
Bigger one.
But this is the real one. This gets into your
To this.
and it's
It's really bad.
very hard.
Yeah.
It really hurts you. You feel the pain in your head.
Yeah.
It's not it's not a small pain.
Yeah.
It's really hard pain, especially if they tie it too much.
Yeah.
So this one and this one, it's the nightmare of Palestinians.
On a gentiment, alhamdoulilah, accueilli chez Issa. Issa d'ailleurs qui a été nominé, s'il vous plaît, nominé au prix Nobel de la paix. Franchement, je suis très contente qu'il soit là et là. Autour de notre petit appartement dans lequel nous nous logeons pendant 2 jours. Parce qu'il faut savoir que on a été gentiment invités pour demain pour manger. On était obligés d'accepter. À la base, on devait partir à Ramallah, mais Ramallah n'aura qu'à. Là, c'est la cuisine. Là, c'est la salle de bain. Et on a notre chambre. Cet après-midi, normalement, vers 5h, on part dans le camp de réfugiés.
We're standing now at the second main entrance to Shahada Street, or what used to be the second main entrance. After 1994, after the Ibrahimi Mosque massacre happened and took place, which was committed by an Israeli settler inside of the Ibrahimi Mosque, where he killed 29 Palestinians and injured more than 170, we as Palestinians, we were the victims and we were still punished after being killed. When we lost our city, especially city center, the heart of Hebron, due to the massacre. But settlements existed in Hebron from before 1994. Settlements existed in Hebron since 1967, since the Naksa, or the second occupation to Palestine, or what they like to call in English, the 6 Days War. where Israel occupied the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza. We had Kiryat Arba, the first settlement in Hebron. Then settlers came after 1980 or 1979, and they started establishing small outposts in the city, then became settlements. Then the massacre happened, and after the massacre, we lost our city center. There was a 3-month curfew that took place. This part of the city and that part used to be the most active part of Hebron, and it was the main, market for all the country, where people used to come to Hebron from Ramallah, Bethlehem, Nazareth, Gaza, Haifa, from all over the country. And Hebron is known as the economical capital of the country, where almost 40% of the Palestinian Authority's GDP comes from Hebron. The most active part of the city at some point became the deadliest part of the city because of the occupation. Although we were victims, we were punished by controlling completely our city center, ethnically cleansed Palestinians from their homes there, and replacing settlers in these houses, building more settlements, putting more soldiers, creating more security checks, where 24 Israeli checkpoints are at the entrances and exits of H2. What is H2? 1997, after the Ibrahimi Mosque massacre, 3 years later, Hebron was divided into H1, H2. So Hebron is not, as a city, is not ABC. 1993 there was Oslo Accord, where Hebron was not part, as a city, was not part of Oslo. And 3 years later, second part of Oslo Accord, or Oslo Agreement, where Hebron had its own special agreement. It's called Hebron Protocol. So Hebron is not unlike other Palestinian cities, it's either black or white. It's not ABC, as a city, not as a district. So Hebron had its own special agreement where the Israeli army divided Hebron into 2 parts. H1, where it's under Palestinian police control, which forms 80% of Hebron, and H2, where there are settlements, which forms 20% of Hebron, which is fully under Israeli army control, where 36,000 Palestinians live, where there are 24 Israeli border controlling the entrances and exits of the area, more than 120 movement restrictions, more than 1,090 Palestinian housing units are abandoned, 1,800 Palestinian shops closed, 1,800, about 513 of them are welded shut, and 1,300 are closed because of the occupation eviction in the area, a dead area. You will walk and you will see it's dead. And you will see cameras and soldiers on top of you, and Palestinian shops down, some of them are still open. The businesses in the old city is being killed year by year. It's being destroyed. So Palestinians have no access to Shuhada Street now. After 1994, Palestinians were prevented from walking on the street. We are prevented from driving in H2. We cannot get our cars to H2, which is 20% of Hebron. It's a lot. So 36,000 Palestinians, they don't have access to cars within their neighborhoods, where Palestinians have no right to get an ambulance without special coordination from the Israeli army. So 36,000 Palestinians have no medical services because the Israeli army prevents Palestinian ambulances from reaching the area without special coordination. It's 6 calls to get an ambulance. You have to make 1 call and other 5 calls have to come in series as coordination. Goes through the Red Cross, then the Israeli civil administration, which is the civil part of the army, to the ambulance in. So you're talking about 6 calls. It takes some time to make it, and most of the cases that need ambulances, they don't get an ambulance because the Israeli army says no, or if they let the ambulance in, it takes hours and hours. To get an ambulance is a nightmare. It's mission impossible, for Palestinians, for 36,000 people living in H2 under the mercy of the Israeli army. We are now below the first Israeli settlement on the street, and it's called Beit Hadassah. In Arabic, Palestinians call it Ad-Dabboya. This was a Palestinian yogurt factory in the past, shared between 2 Palestinian families, 1 Muslim family and 1 Jewish family. And they used to live in the building, so they used to produce yogurt. Now the Israeli occupation occupied it, and they are using it as a Jewish museum talking about Jewish history in Hebron, called Beit Hadassah. So it's not just 1 building, Beit Hadassah. This is a museum next to it, in the back, there is a Palestinian apartment they occupied and they live in it. And there is another building they built, a huge building. You can see that on top of us, the fence is to protect us from settlers' attacks. You see the stones there? Big stones.
Yeah.
And it gets cleaned from time to time. Palestinian Hebron municipality comes and cleans it from time to time, but there is, let me show you more trash. A bottle, a stone from settlers, but the stomach grain is from the soldier. He threw it at Palestinians. When they shut down the street for Palestinians, they shut down any entrance or exit that leads to the street. So this used to be the gold market, and they shut it down, welded the shops for one reason, because they used the roof of the shops as a basketball court for settlers. So it's a luxury life for settlers on the expense of Palestinian business. More than 30 Palestinian shops. This used to be the gold market. Now it's welded. And what I mean by welded is, look here. This is welded. It means you own the shop, but you're not allowed by a military order to open it. You go to jail if you try to open your own shop. So this is the meaning of welded shops. This is part of the 513 shops closed by military order for security reasons. I don't know what kind of danger against Israel. If you come closer, you see the building there? There is a building there, straight. You see the difference in the color of the stones, old and new?
Yeah.
Because that settlement, it's called Beit Romano. They occupied a Palestinian school called Issa Amro school, built other floors on top of it in 1980, and turned it into a Jewish school. They call it Beit Romano. In Israel, they call it a yeshiva. Yeshiva for 300 Israeli settlers studying there. They built it on top of a Palestinian old school, elementary school. So I know people who used to attend that school in the past, Palestinian kids. But now it's a settlement. So you see the barbed wire, everything on top of us to prevent Palestinians from having access to the other side. There are always military posts, cameras everywhere to watch this part of the city. So we are almost entering the old city now. So we will be going through the old city, officially be entering through the old city. And you can see how many military posts and how many cameras are there around, and also too many Israeli flags. The settlers organize a settler tour in the old city of Hebron. They come with the army here. The army surrounds them. They block the road. They block the path of people, and they have a tour in the old city.
Every Saturday?
Every Saturday. Sometimes you see the same people, the same faces all the time. So we're officially entering the Palestinian Old City, Hebron Old City. The Hebron Old City is known as the second oldest inhabited city continuously all over the world. Jericho is the oldest. We have a debate whether the second is Damascus in Syria or Hebron. Now we are entering another Palestinian market, and it's called Khan Shaheen, where it was a combination between two different markets, the chicken market and the butcher's market. It has the same story as of a dead end because it leads to Shuhada Street. But you see the new building facing us. It is the Israeli military base, and they built it on top of the old Palestinian bus station. So when they occupied the area, or when they controlled the area fully, they confiscated the Palestinian bus station, and what they did was used it as a military base. After, in the past 7 years, they started building a building on top of the Palestinian bus station and turned it into a military base. So now it's a building, it's a military base built on top of the Palestinian old bus station. Khan Shaheen was a combination between two Palestinian markets. This used to be the chicken market. This used to be the butcher's market. Both have a dead end because both markets lead you to Shuhada Street. Behind of that concrete wall, it is Shuhada Street. And behind of that concrete wall, it is Shuhada Street and the Palestinian vegetable market. What used to be the Palestinian vegetable market. where they built a third settlement. It's to prevent access of Palestinians to the other side. So when these markets had a dead end means no more customers come, because people used to come through the market, go to the other side, make shopping and come back. So they killed the area with too many blockades, too many barriers to prevent the people, the Palestinians, from reaching the other side and to kill the area. And if you come, turn your back and look straight there, they always try to keep showing you the Israeli flag. They want it to be seen from all over the city. So they put a big one. So wherever you walk around the whole city, you literally see it. There are, in this apartment, in this building, there are Palestinian families who their main entrance was from the street. And after shutting down the street, they prevented those Palestinian families from using their main entrance. They had to open a hole in the neighbor's garden, in the wall of the garden of the neighbors. They opened a hole to enter and exit their homes because their main doors on Shuhada Street were welded. So they came in one morning, welded the doors where they were not allowed to use them anymore. Before, they had a permit. After the Ibrahimi Mosque massacre, they had to apply for a permit to use these doors, their main entrances. And at some point, although they had a permit, the Israeli army started preventing them from using their main entrances. And they came in one morning, welded the entrances of these families' homes, and those families were stuck. So they had to open a hole in the neighbor's wall or the neighbor's garden to come into their own houses. TikTok? Photo on TikTok? A video on TikTok. This one's from TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok.
She is the TikTok woman.
This is my friend between 20 years old. Welcome drinking cafe.
خلينا بدنا نروح
ما بستناك.
شكرا.
Welcome to the Ibrahimi Mosque. We are now inside of the mosque, and the origin of this building is a cave which is below us, and it's 17 meters high, and it's where Abraham, Sarah, Jacob, Leah, Rebecca and Isaac are buried. And it's a cave which Prophet Abraham bought when he came to Hebron and lived in the cave with his wife and his family, and they are buried below in the cave. So on top we have the tombs. So this is the tomb of Sarah, and her grave is 17 meters down below the tomb, and next to her it's Abraham, and both tombs are seen visible from both sides. So from the other side, the settlers who enter to the synagogue, to the other part of the building, they can see Abraham and Sarah's tombs, and we can see them too. We can see here Sarah and we see Abraham, and inside there is Isaac, Rebecca, and on the other side there is Jacob and Leah, and we have the tomb of Joseph, but he's not buried here. Why do I keep saying other side? Why say? Because after the Ibrahimi Mosque massacre, the building was divided into two parts. 65% of the building was given to the settlers, turned into a synagogue, and 35% of the building was kept as a mosque for Palestinians, with 2 metal detectors to cross to pray. And you saw when we entered how long we had to wait to enter to the mosque, but it's fully under the Israeli army control. As a Muslim, I'm not allowed to the other side. As a tourist, a Christian, you can. As an Algerian, French Muslim, you cannot go to the other side because they don't allow Muslims and they don't allow Palestinians. So if you're a Palestinian, whatever your religion is, Christian or Muslim, you are not allowed there. This is where the Ibrahimi Mosque massacre took place. It was the 25th of February 1994. It was the 15th day of Ramadan. It was a Jewish holiday where the night before, settlers tried to break into the mosque to pray. The Palestinians at that time pushed them out, prevented them from entering. So the guards of the mosque closed that gate because they tried to come in from there. It used to be the exit through the main entrance, which is now used as a main entrance to the synagogue, which used to be at that time the main entrance to the mosque because it was fully a mosque. They locked that gate. After about 6-7 hours for the next prayer, it was Fajr, before the sunrise prayer, Baruch Goldstein came in with a rifle and a pistol and he had these headphones that you use for shooting, and he came from behind this wall, and he came from this gate, and he exactly stood here, and he came after the prayer started, and people were praying to this direction. He stood behind them, just right here, put the headphone, and started shooting people, and killed 29 Palestinians and injured more than 170 of the worshippers. He tried to escape from that gate, was surprised that gate was closed, because his plan was to come in from there and run out from there. He found that gate closed. He came back when he ran out of bullets. People blocked his way out from here. He took out his pistol and kept shooting people, continued to shoot people. Somebody hit him by the fire extinguisher, and he killed him. To stop him from killing people, he died in that, he also died. After the massacre, the Israeli army prevented anybody from reaching the building to rescue the injured Palestinian worshippers. They blocked every entrance and exit of the area, prevented Palestinian ambulances from reaching the building to rescue other Palestinians who are injured. So what happened is the Palestinians themselves started carrying the bodies of the injured Palestinians, took them from inside of the building. There were no checkpoints like today out, and took them out, put them on the front of the cars of the people, moved them for a short distance, then on another car, then to the hospital. And what they did, they used, is they went from like the off-roads, like between the houses, which the army didn't close, from a house to another. And the army in that time chased the Palestinian cars, tried to confiscate the bodies of the killed and injured people, but they couldn't. It was almost impossible for them to do this because the people were super angry, and they were like heading to the hospital. The army could not control the situation. Control, what I mean is to confiscate the bodies, because they started chasing Palestinians who got out of the mosque to go to the hospital. In the same day of the massacre, the Israeli army followed the Palestinians to the cemetery, the funeral, shoot and killed other 6 Palestinians. So on the same day of the massacre, around 35 Palestinians were killed. 35 Palestinians were killed. 6 during the funeral, killed by the army, and 29 killed by the Israeli settler. Among them, there were children. 2 of my family, people from my family. One of them was a child. Later on, the Israeli army decided to close the mosque for 8 months. They closed it for 8 months, where no Palestinian was allowed to have access to the building to pray. The Israeli army formed an investigation committee called Shamgar to investigate the massacre. This investigation committee was formed out of Israeli ex-generals in the Israeli army, and they came out with different recommendations, such as, and the recommendations of this investigation committee is what we see today in Hebron. So the recommendations of this committee were to shut down Shuhada Street, prevent Palestinians from having access to it, raise the amount of Israeli security checks around the H2. It was to divide the building into 2 parts, give part of it to the settlers to pray to the Jews, divide Hebron into 2 parts. And the excuse the Israeli government used was because we are afraid that Palestinians might revenge from the massacre. In the US, when settlers go to talk about Hebron, how they justify the massacre is they say that they had information that the Palestinians who were praying were planning a massacre against the Jews in Hebron, the settlers, and that they were hiding, the Palestinians, the guns under the carpets. And Baruch Goldstein, reacting to this before, saved the lives of Jews. This is what they say, but it's bullshit. This is to justify the massacre. Today, Baruch Goldstein has a tomb, and his grave and tomb are in Kiryat Arba. It's a place where extreme right-wing Kahana followers, the Kahanists in Israel, extreme right-wing, go visit it, consider him as a hero of Israel. Itamar Ben Gvir, the current Israeli interior minister, who comes from Kiryat Arba settlement, there is a video, entered his house, and they saw there was a big picture of Goldstein in his house, in his memory. Somebody who killed 29 worshippers and injured more than 170 is considered as a hero by the current Israeli interior minister in Israel, Itamar Ben Gvir. And even that reporter, who is Israeli Jewish, was shocked that Ben Gvir considers this guy as a hero of Israel. And what we are living as Palestinians today is the result of the Ibrahimi Mosque massacre. And it's where Palestinians were killed and punished for being killed, literally. And yes, since then, there was a huge growing in Israeli settlements, areas controlled by the Israeli army around Hebron. And Hebron is considered as the only city in the West Bank that has settlements in the heart of the city, which means Palestinians and settlers have a daily interaction with each other. We use some of the streets, we both use the same street, so there is an interaction every day. And if we talk about all Palestine, we talk about Jerusalem and Hebron. This is the only place, these are the two only places in the whole country where you walk around the city and you see settlers, Jerusalem and Hebron. He'll show you, explain something. He said there is another bullet here. انت كنت في الحرم المجزرة؟
كان ما كنتش في الحرم، هون كان في الحرم، كان من المسجد هذا
No more bullets. Here, one bullet here, there, here. He said there is one bullet here. Here too. This is bullet number 30. من الملكة هيلينا. مظبوط.
مسلمة. مسلمة.
كانت مسلمة الملكة هيلينا.
فتخلي كانت.
He said, yeah. This is Greek writing because the Queen Helena was the one who built the walls of the building and the ground of the building, and which is the ceiling of the cave. And her son, King Herodos, he was the one who ordered to build the ceiling of the building. It's called Salah ad-Din. It's his minbar, and it was gifted to him. He said it has 3,500 pieces of food, no nails. It has done like connected like this, but with no nails. He wants to tell us something more.
The camera are working.
Yeah, it's army, Israeli army cameras. And he said the building is 5,500 years old as a building. And he said this is 3,500 pieces of wood with no nails. It's like connected, done in a way. I think it was made in Syria. انصنعت في سوريا صح؟ سوريا صناعة سوريا ولا مصرية؟ Yeah. It was brought from Egypt. It was made in Egypt. It was brought to Syria, from Syria to Palestine, to Jerusalem, from Jerusalem to here, from Nablus to here. It was brought from Jerusalem to Nablus, Nablus to Hebron as a gift to Salah ad-Din when he was here.
الجامع الأموي واحد، والأقصى واحد حرق اليهود.
الجامع الأموي وين في سوريا؟ And there is one here. There is one in Syria in the Umayyad Mosque in Damascus, and there is one in Al-Aqsa. The one in Al-Aqsa, it was burned, destroyed when the settlers burned Al-Aqsa in the 60s, but they rebuilt. They rebuilt.
في مسجد رمضان 15 رمضان 29 شهيد.
He is talking about 15th of Ramadan, more than 150 injured Palestinians and 29 people killed by the massacre.
مثل يقال الصلح تاع ما حتاج مع الموضوع ملك هلالي مسلم مثل المسجد.
He's talking about the civilizations. He said King Hilali.
طلعونا على هنا.
القرآن كله.
هذا هو. لما كانوا هون هو اللي بنى هذه العقدة.
He's talking about who built this part or different from the ones who built the ceiling of the other part. This is why, or like also for the Quran you see, and then it goes here and there it's a bit down. It was added. It's part of a Quran called Surah Yasin.
Because of the harassment of the Jewish settlers and Israeli army. That's why we keep encouraging everybody come here to motivate more people to come to this area to make it life like before, and we encourage them to support us by buying anything from the shop. That really help us a lot to stay and not to leave. You're welcome. That's all.
ولا
ابو عبيد تعال ببرد بصير ناشف تعال.
Ah. C'est bon?
Are you doing live?
live stream.
Are you going
Hi
to do live now on
everyone.
Twitch?
Yes. I hope everyone is good. كله تمام. حملة ايه؟
We were just sitting just outside the house in the garden, and we saw two soldiers coming to the front door, two soldiers coming to the back, stayed there, were watching, looking at us, and suddenly one of them approached Tamer, our neighbor, who was sitting in the garden too, and asked her for her ID. Then I went to talk to the soldier. I asked if everything okay? She's Tamer, she lives there. What's going on? And then he asked me for my ID, he checked that. And then he asked who is in the house. And then he saw you and he said, can you bring them out? Then he asked for your name, he asked for Camelia's name. And when she said Camelia, he said, come out, bring your passport. She went out, so 4 soldiers came. The 2 who were here and the other 2 turned around and came. And they were like focusing on Camelia. And they refused to let her go into the house to take her passport. So I asked you to bring the passport for her. They were looking at their phone and looking at her and asking her what she's doing here, and where she's from. And I was trying always to ask them to what happened, what's wrong, what's going on. And then they said that, to her that you have to come with us. And I was asking again why. Did she do anything? What happened? He said to me, we will ask her a few questions and that's it. And I was like, but what's going on? They refused. They said, we cannot tell you. We have to ask her. Then I told them, okay, I want to call the lawyer first before you take her. And he said, no, after we take her, you call the lawyer. Then they just took her into the military base. And we are now sitting waiting to see what's going to happen. We called our lawyer. We will follow up and we will see what's going to happen. And she didn't do anything. And they basically picked her from the house and took her. And they were focusing on her. I don't know why, but we'll see. She's still being questioned now.
Ça, il est rentré à la maison, il a dit moi je vais rester à la maison donc il va attendre Camelia et il m'a dit toi vas-y pars pour faire ce que vous devez faire. Donc c'est à dire que là faire les packs pour les familles et donc là les personnes sont en train d'emballer. Emballer ces femmes là ici.
بس مش اسرائيلي بس كويت
بتسألك شو تعمل في الخطوط؟
عندنا مجموعة أسماء بدنا نمشي على القائمة هاي ونوزعهم.
They have a list. They have a family who need support, who need help in the camp. So they will follow the names and give each one box of this. وقتش العائلات بيقدروا يجوا ياخذوا أو وقتش بيجوا ياخذوا العائلات المطرودة؟
اليوم يعني من هلا نص ساعة.
For 30 minutes they will come and they will take their box. Not wait because they will close the entrance of the camp. So that's why we have to leave so quick.
We have to leave so quickly because of our best friends.
Yes, we have to leave because of our friends.
Okay, so we leave. Good luck.
It happened to Camelia that the Israeli military arrested her yesterday. They kept her illegally in the military base for around 8 hours. Then they took her to the Israeli police station and they accused her of very, very false accusations. She's a human rights defender and she came to Palestine to help the Palestinian people peacefully. And that's allowed according to international law. But unfortunately, the Israeli military doesn't want the Palestinian stories to go out of Palestine. And Camelia was documenting the human rights violations and the Israeli crimes in Jerusalem, in Bethlehem, in Hebron. So they didn't like that. And they even didn't allow her to talk to her lawyer or to talk to us, and they took her stuff as thieves, and they deported her and they sent her to Jordan. This kind of mistreatment to European citizens must be stopped, and Israel must be accountable for this kind of international law violations. And we will never give up. We will keep working for freedom and help poor families.
Mercredi 5 février 2023, il est 1h du matin. Camelia, elle a été arrêtée par l'armée israélienne et ils l'ont récupérée du coup le 4 février hier dans l'après-midi vers 15h, 15h30. Ça fait 7-8 heures que j'ai pas de nouvelles. J'espère qu'elle va vite revenir en vrai. Et j'espère qu'il s'est rien passé de chaud. Je connais Camelia, je sais très bien qu'elle est forte et qu'elle est très intelligente sur ça et que par rapport à ça, elle peut être très forte. Ouais. Ça c'est ce qui se passe ici. C'est ce qui se passe ici et je me dis que nous, on vit même pas 1% de ce que les Palestiniens vivent.
Last night we made Palestinian food. I asked your friend to eat for 2 persons, for you and for her. And she already did it and she ate a lot, I didn't feel like, we don't have enough food for us because she ate a lot. So, but after that we made tea and she filmed it when we made the tea. And I told her, I wish if your friend was here with us to drink tea with us. She told me, but she's not here because of the Israelis, so she was detained and stuff like that. But when we make the tea, I ask her how come if I drink her tea, and it's not me who drink it, it's you who drink it. But then I asked her how come she liked the tea. She told me she liked it with a lot of sugar. So I had to add more sugar just to make you happy and to feel that you were with us and you are having tea with us at the same time while you were suffering from the Israelis. We are so sorry, I'm very sorry about what happened to you, but this is the real face of the occupation. They are trying to make our life difficult, hard as much as they can, because they don't want us even to have your support. I promise you one day we will meet in France if we didn't meet here in Palestine. I wish you all the best, and Amman is not far, but still, you cannot come back. Don't be angry, don't be sad. One day you will come back to Palestine when the occupation is end.
Retrouvailles avec Camelia. J'ai trop hâte.
On s'est pas vu en fait.
Vous imaginez que la dernière fois qu'on s'est vu c'était à Hebron.
Ouais.
À Hebron, à El Khalil. À El Khalil.
Plus tard, 24 heures de GRV. Nous sommes là.
Ça y est, de retour
à Amman.